Hello YouTube vintage stereo restorers and tape deck appreciators. So this is part 2 of this Sony 8-track stereo recorder player. And I'm really impressed by the build quality. This is on par with their reel-to-reels. It's better than their cassette decks. It's just very heavy duty stuff. I mean, the motor, the pulley. But I've done some basic stuff on it and some little more advanced stuff. First thing, of course, was a belt to clean this up. It was pretty clean anyway. Oil the motor. Put a couple drops on the shaft right where the bushing is there. I'm just going to show you underneath here. Got light on it. All heavy duty stuff. Look at that solenoid. There's actually, I thought, 2 of the channel selection lights were out. There's actually this turret switch, just very dirty and grimy. So I flushed that out with contact cleaner and then lubed it. There's actually a little hole here to get some oil into the motor at the bottom. Quieted that right down. And all these points here, you can just put a little drop of 3-in-1 oil to loosen everything up. So that got the mechanism working really well. Bring it back down. This thing's heavy. It's like 12 pounds. I got it so that it could play really well. So we got music there. This is Stevie Wonder. Effortlessly switches tracks. All the lights come on. But then I'm thinking, these VU meters don't light up. That's weird. There's bulbs there. I don't know what's going on. I'll show you what's going on actually. When I decided to make a recording, I had to sacrifice a tape. I don't have any blank 8 tracks. So let's get Elvis out of here. So I recorded over Elvis. But I could put these songs back. To make this record, you put it into pause. Okay. Hit the record button and push the tape in. So the motor's running now. It's on track 2. You put it on the track you want to start on. I have a tuner providing input so you can see, look, the lights are on the VU meters. Yeah, they only come on when you record. I actually found a manual for it online, and initially I didn't have one, but I did find one. And that's one of the things about this. They only come on in recording mode. So okay, so I recorded some music off the radio. Left channel was barely there. Just wasn't sounding good. Kind of thin. I'm like, well, what's going on here? It's got to be something, you know. Could be a bad head. And I looked at the head. It was a little dirty. I cleaned that. Let me just eject it here. Then you start, thinking tape recorders again. And sometimes it could be a head. It could be a head wire. So I took the pulley off and I looked at the head wires. They're all soldered on perfectly. Nothing wrong there. Where it comes onto the board here is fine. And I thought, well, maybe there's some, needs a couple capacitors. Okay, so that's fine. There's a couple of output caps. Change those. It was better, but not quite right. What it actually ended up being, this record play switch, which is the length of this board, was just dirty. So I needed to flush it out. And that got it back a little better again, but not quite right. So I ended up resoldering all the connections, because you think every time you put a tape in, that switch takes a jolt, and it's fairly large. Resoldered everything. Got both channels recording and playing. And there's actually a number of potentiometers that you have to, you can get at through little holes on the left side. There's one for VU meter, for record, for playback. Of course, that also comes through this knob. Playback and play mode and record mode. I clean those up and move them a bit and then reset everything according to the manual so that when you record you get balanced sound both channels, and then it comes back at the right playback level. So I went through that, did all that. Had to do some resoldering on here as well, just some bad soldering. I would every once in a while I would change channels and it would sort of stop, like there wasn't enough power. It was these power leads from the transformer. They're barely soldered. Once I fixed that up, no problem. So right now, you can put a signal in and you can make your own 8-track and play it in your vintage car, which is kind of cool. I might change this motor cap back here just to keep, there is a tiny little bit of motor noise there on the playback. Other than that, it's looking pretty solid. Very interesting piece of equipment. Thanks for watching and listening.